Most people imagine collapse as a giant explosion of chaos. Sirens screaming, buildings burning, crowds running through the streets. Reality is far stranger and much more dangerous. The first 24 hours after a true societal collapse are often deceptively normal. That normality is exactly what makes them deadly. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that the systems you rely on every single day have simply stopped working. No power, no internet, no reliable communication, no banking network, no functioning supply chains. Maybe it started with a massive cyber attack, an unprecedented grid failure, a solar storm, or some cascading disaster nobody saw coming. The cause almost doesn't matter anymore. What matters is what happens next. The first thing you'll notice is confusion. Human beings are remarkably resistant to accepting sudden change. Psychologists call it normalcy bias. Your brain desperately wants to believe that everything is temporary. People will refresh dead websites, restart phones, flip light switches over and over again as if repetition alone can force reality to cooperate. This psychological delay becomes the first survival challenge. The people who adapt fastest are not necessarily the strongest or smartest. They're the ones who recognize reality first. While everyone else is waiting for somebody to fix the problem, they're already asking a different question. What if nobody is coming? During the first hour, most cities would still appear functional. Cars would continue moving. Stores would still have products on shelves. Water might still flow from taps because many systems have reserve pressure and backup infrastructure. The illusion of stability remains intact. But beneath the surface, invisible countdowns are already running. Traffic signals stop functioning. Fuel pumps become useless without electricity. Credit card systems fail. Delivery trucks stop receiving instructions. Warehouses lose communication with distribution centers. Modern civilization depends on thousands of interconnected systems operating simultaneously, and very few people realize how fragile that network really is. Here's what nobody tells you. Supermarkets aren't giant warehouses. Most grocery stores carry only a few days' worth of inventory. In some urban areas, essential products begin disappearing within hours once panic buying starts. That leads to one of the most important survival principles. Don't become part of the panic. The moment large crowds begin rushing toward the same resources, danger increases dramatically. A shelf can be restocked. A broken ankle in a stampede is much harder to fix when hospitals are overwhelmed. The smartest move during the first few hours is often to assess, think, and act deliberately rather than emotionally. Water immediately becomes your highest priority. Humans can survive weeks without food under certain conditions. Water is a different story. Dehydration begins affecting judgment far sooner than most people realize. A healthy adult may become seriously impaired after only a few days without adequate hydration. If collapse appears genuine rather than temporary, storing water should happen early. Fill containers, bathtubs, sinks, bottles, anything clean enough to hold potable water. This works because municipal water systems depend on pumps, treatment facilities, electricity, and chemical supplies. Once those systems fail, clean water becomes increasingly uncertain. The irony is that many people will spend the first day searching for food while ignoring the far more immediate threat sitting quietly in their plumbing. As afternoon approaches, another problem emerges: information starvation. Modern humans are addicted to information. We check news feeds constantly, often without noticing. During collapse, accurate information becomes incredibly valuable. Rumors spread faster than facts. Every neighbor suddenly knows someone who heard something. Most of it will be nonsense. One person claims military forces are restoring order. Another says the government has disappeared. Someone insists the water is poisoned. Somebody else says help will arrive tomorrow. This is where critical thinking becomes a survival tool. The brain hates uncertainty. It would rather accept a bad explanation than no explanation at all. Unfortunately, collapse creates a perfect environment for misinformation. People start making decisions based on fear instead of evidence. By evening, the absence of electricity begins changing everything. Cities are creatures of light. Most people never realize how bright the modern world actually is until it goes dark. Streetlights vanish, billboards disappear, buildings become silhouettes. Familiar neighborhoods suddenly feel alien. Darkness changes human behavior. Crime doesn't automatically explode the instant power fails, despite what movies suggest. However, uncertainty increases tension. People become more defensive, more suspicious, and more unpredictable. Every strange noise seems significant.
This is why maintaining a low profile becomes another critical survival principle. During the first night, broadcasting your resources is usually a terrible idea. Bright lights, loud generators, visible stockpiles, and unnecessary attention can create risks you don't need. The goal isn't paranoia. It's simply understanding human nature under stress. Meanwhile, biology begins influencing events in unexpected ways. Stress hormones flood the body. Adrenaline remains elevated. Cortisol levels increase. Sleep becomes difficult. Many people lie awake convinced they must stay alert all night. Ironically, exhaustion then makes them less capable of handling problems the following day. One of the most overlooked survival skills is protecting your ability to rest. Decision-making deteriorates rapidly when sleep deprivation combines with fear. Military survival studies repeatedly show that fatigue can impair judgment almost as severely as intoxication. This means your first night isn't just about security. It's about preserving physical and mental function for the challenges ahead. Now, let's talk about food. Contrary to popular imagination, starvation isn't tomorrow's problem. Most healthy adults can endure significant periods with reduced food intake. What matters during the first 24 hours is preserving resources rather than consuming them recklessly. Many people react to crisis by eating everything available. It's a strange psychological response. The brain senses scarcity and encourages immediate consumption. A better strategy involves inventory. Know what you have. Know how long it could realistically last. Know which foods require refrigeration, cooking, or preparation. Every calorie suddenly becomes part of a larger equation. This section is based on practical field survival experience, rather than formal academic sources. As midnight passes and the first day approaches its end, another reality becomes impossible to ignore. Civilization isn't collapsing everywhere at the same speed. Different regions experience different timelines. Rural communities may adapt differently than dense urban centers. Areas with strong local relationships often demonstrate remarkable resilience. Communities where neighbors know each other tend to organize faster and share information more effectively. Humans are social survivors. One of the biggest myths in post-apocalyptic fiction is the lone wolf hero who conquers every challenge alone. Real-world disasters consistently reveal something different. Cooperation frequently outperforms isolation. People share tools, exchange information, pool resources, watch over vulnerable members of the community. The first 24 hours often determine which social bonds strengthen and which ones fracture. By dawn of the second day, the psychological landscape has transformed. The event is no longer a strange interruption. It has become reality. The denial stage begins fading. People who spent the first day waiting for rescue suddenly realize they may need to take responsibility for their own survival. That realization can be terrifying, but it can also be empowering. Because beneath all the technology, all the infrastructure, and all the conveniences of modern life, human beings remain extraordinarily adaptable creatures. Your ancestors survived ice ages, famines, plagues, wars, and environmental disasters without smartphones, electrical grids, or 24-hour delivery services. The instincts that carried them through those hardships still exist inside you.
The first 24 hours after collapse are not primarily a test of strength. They're a test of perception. Can you recognize reality before others do? Can you remain calm while people around you panic? Can you prioritize water before hunger, information before rumors, rest before exhaustion, and cooperation before conflict? Those decisions matter more than expensive equipment, because the greatest danger during the first day isn't darkness, thirst, or even scarcity. It's the belief that normal life is about to return if you just wait a little longer. The people most likely to survive are often the ones who understand a simple truth early. Collapse is not a single event. It's a process, a chain reaction, a slow unraveling of systems that once felt permanent. And during those first 24 hours, while the world is still trying to decide whether the crisis is real, your future may already be taking shape through every decision you make. That's what really happens after collapse. Not one dramatic moment. 1,000 small realizations arriving one after another, until suddenly you understand that the world you woke up in yesterday no longer exists, and the choices you make today may determine whether you see next week at all.